How's it going, everybody? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson, and today I've got Volume 6 of Fun and Easy Riffs from the 1970s. Right now Guitar Control is giving me this really cool free chord chart. It's in PDF format and just has every chord you could ever need all neatly compiled into one sheet. So you can download it, you can print it off, you can put a copy in your gig bag, put a copy where you practice. So just any situation you're in, you have any chord you need at a glance, and it's a free download. Just click the link in the description. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look at these. Alright, so the first one to look at is Lola from the Kinks. So this one here is pretty easy. So this very first chord we've got here is a C over G. So basically what it is, we've just got your regular C major chord, but we also are going to add the 3rd fret of the low E string. Alright, so how I do it is I use my 3rd finger to play the 3rd fret of the low E string, and I use my 4th finger to play the 3rd fret of the A string, and then my middle finger to play the 2nd fret of the D string. The G string is open. My 1st finger is playing the 1st fret of the B string, and the high E string is open. So it's a really nice sounding chord. Alright, so we start out, we've got 2 quarter notes, so we strum this chord for beat 1 and 2. 1, 2, and then starting on beat 3, it's 16th notes. So 3, E, and then that last one is tied to the downbeat of 4, and as a 16th note. So 3, E, and 4. Then we're going to switch to a D over A. So basically what it is it's just your D major chord, but you're also going to play the open A string. And we hit that on E and so 1, 2, 3, E and 4, E and then we go to an E major, just regular E major chord. So we strum that on the downbeat of 1, and it's an 8th note, so it's 1, E and 2, E and 3, E and 4, E and so we're just holding that chord, but we're going to play starting on the high E string. We're going to go E, B, G, E, B, G, E, B, G, E, G, B, E. So the whole thing. Alright, so the next one we're going to look at is Mississippi Queen by Mountain. So this one's pretty easy. It's just made up of some power chords. So our first one is D5. So I'm coming up here to the 5th fret of the A string with my 1st finger. And then how I like to do it is I just use my 3rd finger to bar the 7th fret of the D and the G string. Or you could do it with fingers like, using your 1st finger on the A string and your 3rd finger on the D string and your 4th finger on the G string. Whichever way is easier. And we start this off, this is on the downbeat of 1. And then we're going to slide up a whole step to E5 on the and of 1. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. So on beat 3 is a quarter note. We hit it, we slide out of it, and then we rest on beat 4. Alright, and then starting on the 2nd measure, we rest on the downbeat of 1, and then starting on the and of 1, we play the 7th fret of the A string with your 3rd finger, and that's and 2 and. Then on the and of 2, it's the open A string. Then for beat 3, which is a quarter note, we go to the 5th fret of the A string with your 1st finger, with a little vibrato, and then beat 4 is back to 7. So that's 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So. So then measure 3 is the same as measure 1. Now on measure 4, we're going to do another little riff. So again, we rest on the downbeat of 1, and then on the and of 1, we're going to hit the open low E string. So we've got 1 and, then on the downbeat of 2, we're going to pick up the 3rd fret of the low E and do a half step bend. And then on the and of 2, the open low E string. So 1 and 2 and then the 2nd fret of the D string as a quarter note for beat 3 with some vibrato. And then I just let my fingers lay across the strings, and I do a quick 4 and just muted. And then the whole thing just repeats. Alright, and then the last one we're going to look at is Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones. So this riff, they're in some sort of an open tuning, but you can play it this way and it still sounds good to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to be doing the major bar chord shape with the root note being on the A string. So we're doing a G. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the 10th fret on the A string, your first finger, and then use your 3rd finger to bar the 12th fret of the D, G, and B string. So since this is a G, this is G major. So what we're looking at is G suspended 4. So while you're doing this, we're going to take our pinky and we're going to pick up the 13th fret of the B string. So that would be G suspended 4. So if you look on the tabs, we rest on 1. So it's 1, 2, and then we take that pinky off for just for beat 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're going to do on the and, we rest on the downbeat of 4, but on the and of 4, we're going to do C major. So we're going to do the same shape. We're just going to bring it down. So now your first finger is picking up the 3rd fret of the A string, and your 3rd finger is barring the 5th fret of the D, G, and B strings. So we hit that on the and of 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the, so that's the first measure. And then on the second measure, we rest on the downbeat of 1, and we hit this C again on the and of 1. And then on the downbeat of 2, we rest. The and of 2, we hit this again. And then on the, we actually are now, what we're going to do is we're going to hit C suspended 4. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our, like we did up there, we're going to take our pinky and we're going to pick up the 6th fret of the B string. So we hit that on the and of 2, and 3, and then on beat 4 is just C. So that's half of the riff. All right. So starting on measure 3, it's the same as measure 1. So we come back up here and do this again. Now beat 4, we rest on the downbeat of 1. The and of 1, we hit the C again. We rest on the downbeat of 2. On the and of 2, we hit the C suspended 4, so we put our pinky down. So this is what makes this one different, is we're going to go and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Alright, so there you have it. 3 more fun, not too terribly difficult riffs to play from the 1970s. So if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this or other guitar-related topics. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching and have a great day.